sunrise here at the Grand Canyon. It's well worth fighting the cold weather. It's cold. I don't know how cold it is, but I can see my breath and my ears are cold. But this is a great view. It's worth it to wake up and see the sun setting, or rising, I'm sorry. The sun rising on the mesas out here. It's like a show starting, a show of color. You come out here and the canyon's beautiful, but there's nothing quite like seeing the color form as the sun hits it in the morning. We just woke from our cabin, not too far from here, just steps from here. And these are some of the cabins that are here at the Angel Bright Lodge,
Angel.
Or the Bright Angel Lodge. Yes, it's morning time. I've only had like a half a cup of coffee, but we saw a couple of deer following us. We weren't sure if they were going to approach us and try to get some food or something, but it was just the coolest thing to see these two full-size deer just kind of cruise by us on the path. I wanted to point out this building. It's really cool. This is actually called the Lookout, built in 1914. It was actually built as probably the most natural-looking building. It was supposed to look as though it just came out of the rocks, and it is quite the beautiful building to look at, especially this time of morning, don't you think? And so this was designed by Mary Coulter, and it's kind of interesting to see that Mary Coulter designed most of these buildings here.
Hi, Lori.
Hey, Lori, good morning. You're up early. We're up early. You're up early. Chris, you're an hour earlier. Hey, we'll see you. We got to make it from here to LA by birthday party time at 5. It's Gracie's 12th birthday party today. We will be there. But Mary Coulter designed most of these buildings. As you know, you got the Grand Canyon. What are you going to do with it, right? You find it. What are you going to do with it? Tourism. So these hotels were built much like the Timberline Lodge, much like the Crater Lake Lodge. These hotels were built for people to come as a resort and check out this facility. They'd take the train from Williams, which is just south of here. They'd take an hour, maybe an hour and a half train ride from Williams, find themselves here, and the wealthy who are used to going to lodges in Europe and parts of Africa, they'd spend their money, stay at home in the States, and come here. So these were this was the turn of the 20th century. Now it's, you know, mainstream folks coming here, staying here, enjoying it, but there's beautiful lodges. The main one over here, of course, El Tovar, is absolutely beautiful. And it's more reminiscent of what you see on the West Coast of what we call the national park hotels and lodges. And then over here is Bright Angel, and Bright Angel was built to be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more of the middle class, if you will, lodging right here, both on the rim. I mean, literally we're walking feet over to this rim. Look at this. I mean, if I stood on this, if I stood here and fell, I would be dead. Look at, Donna Baker, can you get...
It's a mile down there.
It's a mile down there, by the way. Lovely Donna Baker on camera here.
Hello.
And coordinating you visitors and guests that are joining us today, and we love having you, and we appreciate that you are with us today. But it's a mile down, and that's not even down. That's not even fully down. That's just like a mesa or something right there. You see a little road that looks forever from here, but then you look right over the top, and it keeps going down to the Colorado River. We're at about 6,500 feet elevation, or approximately. Hey, Mississippi.
There's the El Tovar Hotel.
Yes, Donna's showing you. American flag.
Los Angeles.
Flying. Again, we're about 6,800 feet over there on the other side of the rim, which is the north rim, which is closed this time of year because of obviously accessibility and weather. Is about 8,000 feet. And then down below at the canyon floor, 2,000 feet. The Colorado still runs at 2,000 feet.
What's the temperature?
Cold. It's cold out here. I wish I were to wear my heavier jacket. It's got to be close to freezing. We're hoping here's the sun just peeking up over at us today. We're hoping that it'll warm up enough so that we don't have two icy roads getting out of the village here this morning.
About that hotel?
Yeah, that hotel was built, it was a Harvey house. It was built, the concept of the Harvey House was to bring a great experience to travelers. Before that, there was rude, slow,
it's like the end of 1800s.
End of the 1800s. So the concept was to bring great service, good food, a lot of pretty young girls, and a great experience to someone's travel. And so this was a Harvey House at the time. They were throughout the West, typically on railroad lines and lodges and hotels that were on railroads. And this was one of them. And this is a beautiful, I don't know how many rooms they've got, probably hundreds of rooms right on the rim. We went to dinner there last night, had a great dinner, and enjoyed it. We actually were lucky enough and fortunate enough, blessed enough to get a table seat so we could watch the sunset over the Grand Canyon. Food was good. Service was excellent. Old school service. A waiter that knew what he was doing. How often do you get this type of service these days where your waiter anticipates your needs and does them?
How much to stay there? Around $200 at this time of year.
$200 to stay there, Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
We
well worth
stayed
it.
at its sister Bright Angel, which has these series of cabins, and it was about $120. Real reasonable.
Very reasonable. Keep in mind this is the off season here at the Grand Canyon, because most people don't want to deal with the weather and the cold. So you don't have as many tourists. You still have tourists because this is one of the world's destinations, being a world wonder. So you still have people, but it's not as crowded as you might find it in the spring or summer. So we have kind of have the place to ourselves essentially. So, but as you can see, just as we've been talking here in the last few minutes, on this cold January morning, the sun has come up. It's warming us up. It's bringing out the red and those wonderful different layers of the Grand Canyon. I mean, these are billions of years worth of layers and effort of the Colorado River, up supposedly the Colorado River, and erosion from bits of things floating in the Colorado River as it comes down in different stages of
Can we see the
thrust.
glass walkway? No, it's many miles down, and it's like $75 to go on.
But wouldn't that be a great periscope? Donna and I talked
Yeah.
about that. Wouldn't that be a great periscope? Donna would blindfold me, walk me out to the middle of that puppy, and I would be out suspended, and then lay me down face first, take off my blindfold, and there I'd be. Wouldn't that be a great periscope? Except you'd watch me freaking out,
Are you okay?
and that wouldn't be. That might not be as, shall we say, flattering.
So this is the last day of our Savory Road
Yeah, this
road
is
trip.
it. This is it. Last day. And this is the last day. We head back today. It's been 3 weeks. This marks the 21st day of this trip. And what a great way to end it. What a great last day to say goodbye to this
Thank
LA
you.
to LA road trip, Los Angeles to Louisiana and back. And this is our last place before we go back. And it's such a beautiful place to be. And we will return as we have before, have again from this place. So glad we get to see it in the wintertime. So glad we get to see it in fresh snow. So glad we get to see it in the morning, and so glad we're here on a beautiful day. Hardly any clouds, if any, clouds in the sky. Thank you, God, for such a beautiful morning. And tell you, no matter what your beliefs are, you can't stand here and not think that someone a little smarter than us created all this. And it's just a wonderful experience to be here. Everybody should come to the Grand Canyon.
Especially at sunrise.
Sunrise, because I think you see even more than sunset. Sunrise, you really see the sun come up.
We agree.
You really see the colors.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us.
If you want to see pictures and all that.
Yeah, if you want to see the pictures, go to Savory Road Instagram. You can also go to savoryroad.com. And our road trip, by the way, that we've done over the last 3 weeks, and a lot of you have been with us, really, and it's been fun having you with us on Facebook and Instagram. It's just starting now on our radio series that we're doing on KVCR. If you live in Southern California, especially the Inland Empire, you can listen on Sunday mornings during NPR Weekend Edition. We're on between 7 and 9 during a 3.5-minute segment. And then occasionally we're on during the news during the week with some sort of feature segment, which will revolve around this trip. So it'll just start, we'll start over, and the radio people will be hearing it for the first time. So listen to that, and then there'll be a corresponding blog.
Can you briefly describe where we've been on our trip?
And by the way, savoryroad.com if you're not sure where to get the details. Where we've been on our trip started in Los Angeles. First night was Phoenix, went through Arizona, found ourselves in Texas, where we visited family in San Antonio and Houston. And of course, we're eating our way through those areas with family members who either cooked for us or showed us these great restaurants. And then we found ourselves in Louisiana, where we enjoyed some great food, Creole and Cajun food, gumbo, jambalaya, and then we found ourselves in New Orleans. That was our final destination. The farthest east was a little over 2,000 miles in New Orleans. And we were the only, not alone, I hardly ever saw a California license plate. We didn't see a California license plate till the day we left New Orleans, and the person parking next to us in our hotel parking lot was from Santa Cruz. We never met them, but we did get to see their car. fact, we had really no reference at all to Los Angeles on this whole trip until yesterday, when we had a choice to take a highway to Albuquerque or Los Angeles. But on the way home, we tried to go to as many new places as we possibly could. So on the way back, we got to go to, and really that was this trip. We went to Sedona and then up here to Grand Canyon. So these were the new places on the way back that we got to see. Donna Baker really wanted to see the Grand Canyon. And I'm glad that she wanted to see it, because here we are. And really perfect conditions. So again, savoryroad.com, Savory Road Instagram for photos. And again, thanks for joining us. We'll be, this is probably it for this trip. We'll just see you, but we're not going to stop doing periscopes.
No, all around LA.
When we get home, we keep doing them. Anytime we go to a fun, interesting place in Southern California, Los Angeles area, we do a periscope. So we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
We're going to Peru in March.
Oh yes, and there's this little Peru trip we're taking in March. So join us there. We'll be there for 1 month in Lima. And we're going to go to, obviously, Machu Picchu, and the nearest city to that, which is Cusco. And then we'll go down to Lake Titicaca, which is, I think, the proper way to pronounce that lake down there. It's supposed to be just beautiful. And we ran into some people from Brazil and New Orleans that told us how to pronounce it. Titicaca. So we will be going there. So join us there for periscopes. Hopefully you can get cell service in most of those areas, or wireless, so we can bring it to you live from Peru.
And someone asked, what's the building behind you?
The building behind me, yeah, once again, if you just joined us, this is the Lookout building that was designed. There were 3 main buildings here, 4 really, that were designed around the same time. 2 hotels and 2 residences.
Bar.
And this was the one that was designed to be the most natural.
By Mary Coulter, I believe.
By Mary Coulter. Mary Coulter designed most of these buildings, if not all of these buildings. And she designed this as a way to be a natural building. So this is a natural stone building that was designed to literally lift itself out of the rock and look like it's part of the rock. Right now it's used as a studio, art studio. All right, I'm gonna go get some coffee and warm up. We'll see you next time.
Yes, we had dinner.